My name is Wagner and I'm talking from Brazil. Last year I had a chance to get a Yamaha MODX after being a motif user for a long time. MODX is a great keyboard, full of incredible sounds and resources. But when we tried to use it with Logic, we noticed that it was not so simple to configure like motif was. We don't have the song mode, we just have performances. So we have to think in a different way to record our songs. This week I saw a post asking for help to set MODX with Logic, and that's why it reminded me how difficult it was to me to set up my system to record my songs from MODX. That's why I decided to create this tutorial. Please excuse me my English. Now we'll start. The first step is go to the Google and look for the MODX USB driver. Here we'll find everything that we need to your MODX. The Yamaha Steinberg USB driver that will make possible the communication between your DAW and the MODX for MIDI and audio. The MODX operational system updated. It's very important to update your MODX according to this update. And also the MODX Connect. This is a VST software that allows you to choose a performance from inside Logic Pro and also recover that when you open again your project. Let's download the USB driver. Here you have to agree with the terms and then click download. When download is completed, install the software and restart your machine. The first time I tried to make this configuration, I noticed that MODX was not appearing on the list of available devices on the Logic Pro. That's why I advise you to reinstall the USB driver. Now let's go to the next step. Go to the launchpad on your dock and look for audio and MIDI configuration. If everything is correct, you'll see MODX listed on the left side. As you can see, I have an iPad on my system. It has a lot of great VSTs installed, and I use it to record some sounds from there. One of the best features of MODX is that it has a built-in audio interface, which has 10 input channels and 4 output channels. But as you can see, it's all inactivated. If you have two sources of sounds on your system, for example, MODX and another audio interface, you will have to use it as an aggregate device. Let's create an aggregate device. Click in this plus button to add an aggregate device. And then choose MODX from the list. Now you can see that all inputs and outputs are available to be used. There are 5 stereo inputs or 10 mono inputs and 4 output channels or 2 stereo channels. Click here just to avoid noises on your system. Now let's rename our device on the list. It will be useful to select the appropriate device inside the DAWs. That's all you have to do here. Let's quit and go to the MODX. Well, let's go to the MODX. On the MODX, we will have to make some configuration in order to allow the Logic Pro to talk to the MODX in a correct way. The first thing to do is to create a performance with the instrument to be used on your performance. In my case, for example, I created a performance with 5 instruments where the drums are set to be on channel 1, the piano in channel 2, the one flute on channel 3, bass on channel 4, and a string ensemble on channel 5. Now press the utility button, and here we have some tabs. We will make some configurations in some of them. On the tab Sound, there is no need to choose anything, to change anything here. Quick Setup. Quick Setup is a very useful tool to record on your DAW. We'll talk about that later. Audio I/O, you don't have to make any kind of configuration. Mid input and output. Here, the first thing that is very important is to turn off the local control off. Otherwise, when you play your keyboard, you will hear the channel you are working on Logic Pro, and also the channel 1 that is set on the keyboard. So the sound will be duplicated, or you will hear 2 or 3 sounds at the same time. That's not good. Turn on the midi out on. That will allow you to record arpeggios from MODX. Set the midi sync to MIDI. That will be useful when you will need to set the clock from Logic Pro to be sent to the MODX. And then go to the tab Advanced. In this tab, the most important thing here is to set the mid I/O mode to multi. This will allow the MODX to receive information on each channel in a separate way and also reproduce it. Well, this is all we have to do here. Let's go now to the Logic Pro. Start Logic Pro. We will use a project with just one software instrument. Let's replace this classic piano by the Yamaha Connect. So go to the drop-down menu in the channel strip, select AU Instruments, go to the Yamaha Corporation, MODX Connect, and select it. Click here to transfer the sound from MODX to the Logic Pro. And now you can quit. This VST allows you to keep the configuration that you used on the MODX and recover it when you open again this project. Now let's create an external MIDI instrument. At the MIDI destination, select MODX port 1. This performance has 5 instruments, so let's create 5 external MIDI channels. At this performance, channel 1 is the drums, so let's rename the first channel. Let's do the same to the other channels. So now we have 5 external MIDI channels representing the instruments that we are using on the performance on the MODX. Now let's make some tests. Channel 1, drums, okay. Channel 2, piano, okay. Channel 3, flute, okay. Bass, okay. Strings, okay. If anytime you stop hearing sounds from MODX, probably is because you have touched the performance name. If you do that, MODX stops sending audio. To correct this, just touch one of the channel strips and the sound will return. Now that all the MIDI channels are correctly configured, we can start recording something. Let's turn on the metronome and start recording drums. It's okay. Let's cut this clip to keep it just 4 bars. And now we can duplicate it. Now let's record the piano. Now record the flute. Now record bass. And finally, strings. MIDI is okay. Let's now see how to record audio. To record audio from MODX to Logic Pro, we have to make some adjustments. As I told you before, MODX can send up to 10 mono channels or 5 stereo channels and can receive up to 4 channels, 2 stereos or 4 mono. To do that, we click here in the performance name, click Edit, Audio In, and then we choose the first part on channel 1. The part that is on channel 1 is the drums. We keep it as is, as a USB 1.2, a stereo output. Let's go to the part 2. Part 2 is the piano. We will choose here in part output. We will change it. We'll change it to USB mono channel 3 because channel 1 and 2 is already used by the drums. Part 3, which is the flute, we'll change it for USB mono channel 4. Part 4, which is the bass, we'll change it for USB mono 5. And finally, part 5, strings, USB mono, USB 6. Then you have to save it, save the performance in order to keep the configuration. Then we can exit here and go back to Logic Pro. Let's create an audio track to record drums, the audio coming from the drums. Note that input 1 and 2 is the two inputs that Logic uses to record the sounds that comes from the system. So it's already used. Let's use input 3 and 4 for the drums. Let's create the other audio tracks too. For piano, we choose input 5. Mono input 5. For flute, also mono input 6. For bass, input 7. And for strings, input 8. Let's see if we can hear some sound coming from MODX on this channel. No, we cannot. To be able to hear, we have to turn on the input monitoring. Let's do it in all channels. Let's hear again. Now it's okay. Let's rename the audio tracks according to the instrument they are playing. Let's record the audio from the drums. Let's mute all the MIDI channels to hear just the drums. I will delete the audio that I recorded and then arm all the audio channels again to record all audio channels at the same time. the channels, mute all the MIDI channels, and here just one channel to see what's happening. That's it. That's the way that we record audio from MODX. Now let's see how we record arpeggios from MODX. Let's create a new external MIDI channel. Let's go to the inspector just to see if everything is okay. It's okay. Let's record some drums manually just to see if it's working. It's working, okay. Now I will delete this and try to record an arpeggio directly from the MODX. To do that, I'll go to the MODX, push the button ARP, and try to record. As we can see, we couldn't record anything. To record arpeggios from MODX to Logic Pro, we have to go to Utility, Quick Setup, and select here number 2, Arp Rec on Down. This will allow you to record the arpeggios directly to Logic Pro. I'll try to record the harp again. Let's hear what was recorded. The arpeggio was recorded correctly, but the time is not synchronized with the MODX. Let's see how to synchronize Logic with MODX. Right-click on the menu bar and choose Control Bar and Display. Then go to Modes and Functions and look for the button Sync. Select it. Now you will see a new button that was added on the menu bar. Right-click on it and select Synchronization Settings. On the tab General, select Sync Mode Internal, and on MIDI tab, select Destination to MODX port 1, and then select the clock, and then quit. Now Logic Pro is able to send clock information to MODX. Let's record the arpeggio again and see what happens. Now it's okay. The arpeggio was recorded correctly, and the tempo is synchronized between Logic Pro and MODX. Unfortunately, there is no way to make Logic start the ARPs on MODX, or at least I don't know how to do that. What I do is to record an arpeggio and then adjust it after recording on the piano roll. We can select it and apply a quantization. And it's okay. Let's create another MIDI track and record some arpeggios from the piano channel. To do that, I went to the MODX, selected an arpeggio on the channel 2, and now we record it. Well, that is it. I hope I could help you. If you have some doubts, you can write here on the comments. And if you find that this tutorial helped you, please let me know. Thank you.